is the compliance landscape or investigations landscape in Africa as compared to other regions?
That's a really good question. So my role in the past 10 years has been covering the EMEA region. So when you look at investigations in the Europe landscape, Middle East, Africa, they vary significantly. In Africa, there's a different growth trajectory amongst the 50 plus states. You find South Africa, where I'm based, has a different level of maturity in the way that it views investigations or corporate investigations. There's a lot of advancement in the type of work that we do. However, once you start going up north into sub-Saharan Africa, it varies significantly. You have multinationals operating in those jurisdictions actually taking a keen interest on looking into setting up compliance departments that not only are inward focused in that within the organization themselves, looking at certain compliance setups to advance how they look at certain aspects within their own internal structures, but also from an external perspective, having regulatory compliance. So multinationals do a good job of setting that up, because you'd find that something set up in a head office somewhere in Europe or in the US, and it then translates into how it is set up in the local jurisdictions within Africa. Local companies struggle quite a bit with having compliance frameworks, compliance structures. It's a very immature space within the region when it comes to local or family-owned businesses. But I think it's grown significantly in the last 10 plus years because there's been an adoption and there's been a push because of the regulatory fines that come up with non-compliance. So when you look at, and that's the compliance side, which in most cases is a proactive measure that organizations set up. From an investigation standpoint as well, very similar in terms of patterns, in that not many organizations that are locally owned or family-owned business would have the sense of maturity to have a forensic investigation department that is fully fledged or even included in a risk management division. Not so. You'd have, or maybe the HR division has someone that has an investigation background that would help conduct investigations, or you'd have someone in the risk division that has some sort of background. But in South Africa, you find that a lot of organizations, whether local or multinational focused organizations, have forensic divisions, very many at time independent divisions to the risk department, very independent to the HR division. But as I said, the pattern's very similar. As you start going up north into sub-Saharan Africa, much less of that differentiation exists. But I think also with the growth of fines in the market, there's been a push to have that setup actually happen.